What's going on, YouTube? Ferocity here. Hope you guys are doing well. It's been a few days since the release of Splitgate 2, and unfortunately, the community's reaction to the release has not gone as expected for the Splitgate 2 developers. Now, I want to dive into why that is, but I think it's important that we look back to less than a week ago, when the hype for Splitgate 2 was at its height. And I want to start with the date announcement trailer, or the launch announcement trailer, that I have praised as being on par or reminiscent of some of the previous marketing campaigns of games like Halo and Gears of War. Because I still go back to this trailer every now and again over the past week to just enjoy it, because it's quite good, and it really set up Splitgate 2 to be a mystery. We didn't know what to expect ahead of their Gamescom or Summer Games Fest announcement. We all had our theories. Some people thought campaign. They told us to think bigger. Some people thought some sort of extraction mode. We didn't get an answer to that. Now, we did get an answer, but again, I want to focus on the days leading up to Summer Games Fest instead of talking about exactly what happened just yet. Because the overall sentiment around Splitgate 2 at the time was overwhelmingly positive. People looked at Splitgate 2's gameplay and they're like, yes, this is scratching an itch for me. And I saw a lot of people in the XDefiant subreddit talking about how Splitgate 2 was going to be their new game. And it felt like the developers were doing everything right. You saw developer posts within the subreddit. You saw developers talking to people on Twitter. These people were invested. They had everything going for them. And then Summer Games Fest happened, and a lot of people were left underwhelmed. And it started off right away when their CEO and co-founder, Ian, got on stage wearing a Make FPS Great Again hat. And man, time and place. Honestly, time and place. I originally said I thought the hat was funny. I understand now that this joke is in bad taste, especially with what those hats coincide with. Context does matter, and the context here is that the regime that likes to utilize that type of slogan isn't very popular right now, and rightfully so. I don't want to make this political, but unfortunately, those hats are associated with a negative political idea or regime. So having that is just in bad taste, and I understand that now. And I really hope that they understood that. Now, originally, Ian doubled down on the hat, thought it was a funny joke. I know that they've backtracked here, and I think that's the right thing to do. But I want to talk about what that hat represents, or what the slogan itself represents, in a second. Let's get back to the rest of this announcement, because we were told to think bigger than a campaign. And we got a Battle Royale. Which, yes, I've played the Battle Royale. You're going to see some gameplay of me playing it in this video. But that was the big announcement. That's what everybody was supposed to be hyped about. It just feels a little underwhelming, especially considering the fact that I think a campaign for the Splitgate 2 world would have been received quite well. And unfortunately, we just sort of have another Battle Royale. I'm not saying it's a terrible decision. I know people have been praising the Battle Royale mode, saying it's a lot of fun. And don't get me wrong, I've had fun playing it. It's just not going to be my go-to. I think the multiplayer is better than the Battle Royale. But it just feels they were trying to be different than other FPS games just to release an FPS staple at this point. Like, a lot of games now are coming out with BRs because they're profitable, because people like to play them. But it just felt sort of like the easy way out. And I know it's going to be a successful mode, but I'm just like, I wish it was something better, because they made it seem like it was going to be something bigger. So it kind of feels like we were a little bit duped. And I hate to go back to it, but that launch date announcement trailer that I've praised so many times, the music in it had character to it. It had something unique about it. It created an air of mystery. And then for the Battle Royale launch trailer, they use Imagine Dragons, which, like, Imagine Dragons is fine, and I'm sure if I went to see them live in concert, I'd enjoy myself, but it just feels very generic. It feels very top 40. It feels like they're trying to fit in with the other big players in this space instead of carving out their own niche and building that up. And that's where I felt a little bit of disconnection. I told you a few minutes ago that we get back to the stupid Make FPS Great Again hat and slogan. And that's where we're going to now. Because the idea behind making FPS great again, I can get behind. Now, again, there is context that matters here, and maybe you should choose a different way to put that message. Regardless, the current FPS landscape kind of sucks for players, right? You have greedy developers like Activision that are just out here deteriorating their game at every single turn. You have studios like 343 that are just botching massive IPs like Halo. And overall, the space feels like it is trying to gouge customers instead of working with them to create the best experiences possible. And unfortunately, well, 1047 are doing a lot of the right things when it comes to communication and transparency, but monetization has been completely fumbled. The store is just abhorrent. I don't know a better word to describe it. It feels like one gigantic ripoff. And if this is your idea on how to make the most out of Splitgate 2, you missed the mark. That's my personal opinion, and I know I'm not alone. Yes, they've made discounts, and I know people are going to defend that. But even then, $100 bundles that become $55 bundles isn't acceptable. It's just flat out not acceptable. And I know I give a lot of flack to Call of Duty, but they have a way of getting people to their store. Splitgate 2 does not have that same method, that same ethos to direct people to their store. And unfortunately, once you're directed to the store, all you see is overpriced bundles. And it just leaves that sour taste in your mouth. That's not what Splitgate 2 should be trying to do, especially if they want to be different than other games on this market. Now, they've come out and said that they're going to be listening to feedback. Moving forward, I get that you're a free-to-play game, but gouging your customers for cosmetics and microtransactions is not a pathway to future success. It's just not. I'm sorry to tell you that, but gouging customers is going to leave people feeling alienated and disrespected. I have no interest in spending $40, $50, even $30 on some of these bundles, on some of these cosmetics, because I just don't see the value in it. Especially for a game that just came out. We don't know how long it's going to last. I mean, you just went through a PR nightmare, and you're turning around and expecting me to drop $30, $40, $50 on bundles for a game that I don't even know if it's going to be around because the reception has been so poor. Like, don't get me wrong. I still like Splitgate 2. I'm still playing Splitgate 2. I'm still having a ton of fun on it. But I think it's important to note that they didn't really do themselves a lot of favors during their Summer Games Fest PR stunt. It left people feeling extremely alienated. They don't want to see political statements at a video game conference. They just don't, especially ones that remind them of what's going on right now in the United States. They just don't. So it really felt that they missed the mark. And the first thing people see is a store filled with overpriced bundles, and it just doesn't sit well with people. And I totally get that. What Splitgate 2 needs to focus on above all else right now is delivering the best gameplay possible and continuing to be transparent and communicate with their community. They need to right some wrongs from Summer Games Fest, and they need to make sure that the pillars of what makes Splitgate 2 successful continues to be supported, that they don't push all of their resources to the Battle Royale. And please, stop doubling down on bad decisions that you're getting flack for. I understand standing on your principles, but when people are telling you things are in bad taste and context matters, take that to heart. It's not an insult. It's constructive criticism, saying that, hey, we want to support this game, but we really don't want to support it if you're okay with having these wacky slogans out there that honestly don't do anything for anyone. Like, the idea behind Make FPS Great Again is, in theory, smart, but actions speak louder than words, and an overpriced store and a generic feeling experience makes people feel like you're like everyone else. Stop trying to be we're not like the other girls for video games. Just try that for a little while. Regardless of everything I've said in this video, I still do want to play more Splitgate 2. Like I've said, I've had fun playing it. I think the BR mode is just fine. I don't see myself spending a ton of time playing it, but nonetheless, it's a fun experience. I still would recommend it to people, but understand that it is a work in progress. So those are my thoughts on the current situation revolving around Splitgate 2. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it down below in that comment section. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.